and it was quite interesting. And then we started seeing each other, and we moved to West Virginia and lived there for a couple of months, or a couple of years actually.
Yeah.
And then we moved back to Michigan. Then we moved back to West Virginia and opened up my first restaurant in West Virginia.
Was it also called Villa Romana?
Actually, it was called Roma Pizzeria. That one. I used
Roma
to serve,
Pizzeria, yes.
serve sandwiches and pizzas and dinners. I was not as elaborate on dinners as I am now, but that was my first restaurant, and it was very interesting.
Did you always know that you were going to have a Villa Romana someday? I mean, that you were going to go, even whether in West Virginia or down here, that you were going to have something bigger than pizza?
Back then I was in early 30s, late 20s, so my life yet was not quite the size.
Sure.
Did not know exactly where I was going. I knew that when I was up in Michigan that my life was going to go towards the restaurant, because I was also working a couple of restaurants while I was there, so I know my life was going to go back into the restaurant business.
Sure.
Even though I always wanted to do some kind of my schooling back in Rome was different. I took 2 years of electronic in college, so I want to do something different than just cooking. But for some reason, up in Michigan, I started working in a restaurant, and from that point on, I kind of stayed in the restaurant business.
Right. That's fascinating. Well, of course, thinking of your connections back in Rome and how they continue to meld with folks here in the States. As a matter of fact, there's a picture of you in our lobby. Not too many folks can claim to be on a picture of you in our lobby, but there's a gentleman holding a herald, Winston Hoy, who's holding a herald right there in the lobby, and his wife and a lot of folks surrounding you there in front of the Vatican, I believe. And I'll share with viewers about, you mentioned 26 of your customers going.
26 for, they wanted to go, and actually they want to go back again. They wanted to go to Rome, and they started out with just 2 customers, and then 2 other customers overheard the conversation and went from 2 to 4 and then to 6, and by the time I got done, we were 26 of us. So
Unbelievable.
I became a travel agent for about 6 months, because I booked the flight, I booked the motel, I booked the bus for 10 days.
Everything.
Restaurants.
All the restaurants.
We went to 2 different wineries while we were there. And what the most interesting thing of the trip was because of my sisters there, they knew a bishop in Rome, and because of that, we were able to get a private audience with the Pope. So the group was not a one-on-one, but we were very close to him, and that was one of the highlight of the trip, that we were able to get the audience with the Pope. And the picture that you see in the front lobby was taken at the step of the St. Peter's Square, and right after the audience. So it was a hot day, and normally the audience is done inside a big hall. But because it was a beautiful day, so we decided to have the audience out in the open. So it was sitting right in front of the square, and all the pilgrims were sitting. I mean, they were actually standing up way away from him, right in the square. But anyway, they were all standing up in the square, versus us being having the private audience. We're actually seated up to the basically left of the Pope. And
well, I've got to thank you all again for carrying the Herald over to Rome. I know you all were reading it ferociously over there, and I've seen area newspapers that'll, their subscribers will carry their papers and take pictures in front of the White House or Niagara Falls, but no one has ever seen 25 Myrtle Beach area residents holding a herald in front of the Vatican there. So thank you again.
We figure if we had to take a picture with the herald, it would probably make the paper. And that's
it definitely made it, and it made our lobby here. So thank you for that again, Rinaldo. And of course, my mother and my Aunt Molly had a wonderful trip there. And obviously, they're not in town this week, but they'll be watching this on the web here, CarolinaPeople.com. There's so many things, Rinaldo. If you weren't sitting here right now on a Thursday morning at 7 a.m., I assume, based off of your crazy late-night schedules, oftentimes you'd probably be sleeping. Thank you for getting up so early. But what's a typical day like for you? A lot of folks want to know. An executive chef and a co-owner, obviously, there of the restaurant with your wife. What is a typical day like for you? I mean, what is it like? I'm sure it's different in the summer than the winter. Let's say here, and if it was
It's quite different. Well, number one, we have to keep up with all the orders. So a lot of the food, even though I have trucks that comes in on a from different company. I look specifically for a specific type of food, and someday you can just buy from one company, so you have diversify where you buy from several companies. So I have 3 companies that actually come in about 2 times a week, and they deliver 2 times a week. So basically it's almost 5 or 6 days delivery.
Right.
But my producers actually deliver once a day. So every night before we leave, we have to make a list, or not a list, but actually we do make a list, but we go through and see what produce we need for the following day. It doesn't matter what it is. It could just be mushrooms, or lettuce, or broccoli wrap, or whatever is necessary.
Right.
Eggplant we need to order, or we need to have a list made the night before I leave the building and or the restaurant, and then of course call it in. If it's on Saturday, if it's on Sunday, I need to call in on Saturday night, because they need to have the order before they open.
A lot of folks delivering 7 days a week.
A lot of some companies they do deliver 7 days a week, and then but a typical day, normally on a busy day, I go in about 12 o'clock or noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm there 12 hours a day, 12 to 13 hours a day.
Wow.
Even though the restaurant closes at 10, we normally clean the kitchen. I always tell everybody I eat the same food as my customer do, and I eat off the same dishes and so on. So I keep my kitchen spotless. After, you've been in there many times, and after 25 years, always trying to improve things. Whatever needs to be done in the kitchen. If I need to get a new refrigerator or need to add a refrigerator, always looking for ways of improving the way the system is set up.
Both in the kitchen and in the body of the restaurant. They're in the heart of the restaurant. It's just wonderful additions on a constant basis, whether working on the roof, working on adding the great air system. It was so much cool. So just wonderful. Yes,
always. Last summer I realized that if you get a days that maybe 104, 105 degrees, ID index, of course, then the dining will suffer when we see the 100 customers. Exactly. When we have 100 customers, then you have a hot food that goes in from the kitchen to the dining room. They realized was a little problem with the air conditioner not being cooled down enough. So this year we had the 2 wall unit, they almost look like a European unit. They are split unit, but they're very effective, and I don't have to run any ductwork, which means does not lose any heating or cooling because there's no ductwork involved.
It's magnificent, and everything in there. And of course, folks know the location there, 707 South Kings Highway, right between 7th and 8th Avenue South on Kings Highway, 707 South Kings Highway. Just an easy location. Of course, we were talking about earlier before we started filming, our voting in the best of the year begins in 2 weeks. But obviously 04, 05, 06, and 07, Italian Restaurant of the Year, which was a tremendous celebration there. You helped kick it off.
I got to thank to all my customers for that. Without them, I would not be able to be 4 years in a row Italian Restaurant of the Year. So I've really got to say a lot of thanks to them for helping me out on that. I have a lot of locals that follow me throughout the year. That's one reason why we take reservation even in the summer, is because I want the local customer to be able to come into the restaurant regardless what time of the year, what time or what season in the year. Because summertime we get really busy, and without reservation, this summer we have quite a few problems where you could not actually get into the restaurant. The restaurant was either booked up or a line at the door where we could not seat any more customers. But if they have reservation, then we do guarantee the seating. Sometimes immediately, sometimes I take a few minutes because maybe a table that we're going to use for them, they might not be available yet because the customer is sitting there a little longer than what we expected. So, but
Fran shared with us, not to cut you off, Rinaldo, Fran shared with us there was a time, of course, when you all met in Michigan, you moved to West Virginia, you moved back to Michigan for a little while, which I didn't know about, to possibly get in an environment more like her father, in a manufacturing type environment or something. I was trying to think about, and then of course back to West Virginia before coming to Myrtle, but if you weren't the co-owner and the executive chef of Villa Romana Italian Restaurant, what do you think you'd be doing? Have you ever thought about where you'd be if you hadn't gotten into the...
Well, I always set my goals higher than probably everybody else. I'm willing to do anything, whatever is necessary in order to improve my life. So when I went to work, second time I went to Michigan, I worked in an assembly line, and doing the same job for 8 hours was not what my intention of doing the rest of my life. Of course, I would have improved myself. I would have probably became, I was already going to school to become a committee man. I would probably move myself up to a foreman or so on, going to management. I wouldn't have sit there and just be a lineman, be in a line and do the same thing for 8 hours a day. But I thought it was monotony, and it was a little too monotony for me. I don't want to just sit there and wait for something to happen. I want things to happen a little quicker for me.
And it is shown, and you're doing it every day. I'm sorry we've run out of time. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Rinaldo. Stay tuned to a little more Carolina people with Rinaldo Montrosse, the co-owner and executive chef of Villa Romana Italian Restaurant, coming up next. You know, we could have spent 30 minutes here talking about the restaurant and their tremendous menu and everything associated with Villa Romana, but we ran out of time. We could have spent 30 minutes talking about the Eternal City and Rinaldo and Fran as the tour guides taking 26 of their customers over to Rome. We've run out of time. We could have spent 30 minutes talking about Rinaldo's amazing mother and brothers and sisters and everyone who helped make Villa Romana a reality, but we've run out of time. You need to take the time to go into this restaurant, 707 South Kings Highway, 843-448-4990. There's a reason they've won Italian Restaurant of the Year 4 years in a row. They got to get the vote out again this year. The 5th annual Best of the Year kicks off in 2 weeks. Take the time to go on in the 25th anniversary. If you can't get in the next 4 months, then make sure you make it in over the next 16 months because it's leading up to a very special silver anniversary, a real celebration. A lot of immediate family and external family that has enjoyed Villa Romana over the last 23, almost 24 years will be out there celebrating together. Rinaldo Montrosse, doing a tremendous job every day. Thanks for everything.
Thanks for having me.